the H file is what matters here, and the heavy pieces of Hikaru are on the H file, will be on the H file soon.
Just thought of that kid from The Simpsons who's sitting on the bus.
Oh,
I'm in danger.
But it's Grischuk. I'm in danger. Welcome back, everyone, to Team Hikaru coverage of the Champions Tour. We are beginning the first major, and that is the Airthings Masters. And my co-host, Anna Rudolf, myself, Levi Rosman. This is the most awkward introduction. It's a rough morning, guys. It's a rough morning. It's 9 in the morning.
It's early for you, Levi. It's okay. It's early.
And already so many things broke. We nearly didn't boot up on Anna's channel. Then my studio mode, that ugly thing that you guys have seen pop up on the screen, OBS is half broken today, but we're in Christmas hats. And life is good.
And that will make up for everything. The Christmas hats are here to compensate for any tech glitch, mishap, anything that can go wrong. Christmas hats, compensation. We hope you had a lovely holiday season, that you are having a lovely holiday season, and that you will like the Christmas treat that the top chess players have for you. This is the second leg of the Champions Tour, and the games have already started. So Levi, let's jump in and sum up the main details of this tournament real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about what the heck this is all about. So, this tournament has a $200,000 prize fund. First of all, let's start with the good stuff. If you win it, you get 60 grand, and you qualify to the final of the Champions Tour. And this tournament has 12 players, unlike the last one, which had 16, right? Yes.
16 in the previous event, this one has 12. And yet the format is very similar.
The format is very similar, except if there's 12 players and they all have to play each other the first 3 days, that's 11 games, right? So that means that we cover 4 games today, 4 games tomorrow, and then 3 games after that. Okay, math is good.
Math is good, and after the first 3 days, the knockout stage will be the same. To the quarterfinals, the top 8 players will make it, just like in the previous leg of the tour. So out of the 12 players starting today, 4 of them will have to say goodbye, not the half of the field, but 4 of them will need to say goodbye to the tournament, and then the top 8 will make it to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and final. Hopefully that will be Hikaru versus Magnus. That's my prediction for this event. Hot take of the day, first one. I don't think it's a hot take though, because they are favorites. They are some of the top favorites.
Yeah, and just a friendly reminder to anyone who missed the last tournament. The last tournament was called the Skilling Open, named after a sort of company. The Airthings Masters is named after a sort of company, not a sort of company. They are a company, and they do things in air quality. Do you have the app? Did you test out the app?
I was talking about this on my stream because a few months ago I had no idea what the word radon means, and then we figured out. Kevin accidentally saw an information about air quality and such, and radon specifically in an article, and then he was like, shoot, this house is pretty old and we do have a basement, and those are some of the factors that can make the radon level higher. So we ended up buying a device, and the radon level was super high in our basement, and that is an issue. So it's a word that I didn't know what it means. And then we ended up figuring out that if we had not measured it, and then if you don't fix it, you can have a higher chance of getting very nasty things such as lung cancer. It's not something that you can get from like 1 day of exposure, 1 month, but if you end up living in the same house over years and you don't know that you have certain issues with the air quality, such as radon, which is a radioactive gas in the soil. It's natural to have it in the soil, but the level, if it's higher than the average one, if it's higher than the recommended one, then you can have issues with it. So yeah, it's actually a very, very serious issue, and I'm happy that we're gonna give some more basically public exposure to things that can be nasty for health. Yeah, this is a good idea, I think.
Man, I just thought I was gonna cover games today. I didn't know I was gonna. Now I got lung cancer to worry about. God damn, Anna. It's man,
the second.
I'm scared now.
Radon is the second biggest risk factor after smoking for lung cancer. I didn't mean to start the holidays with like a sad note, but it's better to know about these things than ignore it and then have an issue.
Whew, okay, well, my goodness. I mean that is a very important issue. I was gonna say that Anish Giri has been tweeting out that the air quality in his apartment is like 100% or something with
That's
this Airthings app. So, but I think every one of these tournaments is gonna have a different sponsor, and I think Airthings is probably just sponsoring this one. Although we will see what happens as the tournament progresses. I don't think I have an exact graphic of every single player who's playing, but the usual suspects. We've got El Magneto, we have Hikaru, we have his opponent, Alexander Grishuk, who's new. He's new. He was just invited to the Masters. I mean, to the major, to this major.
Yeah, exactly. Just a quick summary, not on air quality too, but I also looked up a little bit of information on chess as well. The field, the top 8 players from the previous event have qualified to this event, so they automatically were invited. David Anton participated in the Skilling Open. He didn't qualify, but he won the poll. There was a public poll between Chess24 premium members, and David Anton, the Spanish champion, won it. Second was Alexander Grishuk, so the two of them made it through the poll, and there are 2 wildcards, Daniel Dubov and Pentala Hari Krishna. That makes up the 12-player field.
And someone in the chat already wrote that Anish Giri is +2 against Jan Nepomniachtchi. When you got Nepo in a tournament, you know you got to keep an eye on his games. Hikaru's game, there is a lot of demand for analysis here. So the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure Hikaru had this exact position against Wesley So in the last tournament. And this is move 19. And I'm pretty sure he had this exact position, if I'm not mistaken, against Wesley So. Either Wesley So or MVL.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because
This looks
I
very
recognize
familiar.
the position, but yes, I wonder who will be the first to deviate.
Yeah, I remember this because King H2, Rook H1, King G1 was some wild idea. And in that game, Hikaru could have played some crazy move G5. And he would have just been better. Like to open the position near his king.
Yeah, very true. I recall that game as well. And let me check in the database how many games are there for... Oh, King H2. I was gonna say, are there any? I see none.
It might be like the slightest of differences, but who knows? I hope it's in the database, period. It looks very familiar. Let's put it this way. It looks very, very familiar.
I think I have it. Dingley Ren was Hikaru's opponent in the Skilling Open, indeed.
It was not Wesley or MVL, it was Dingley Ren. Yeah. There you go.
But there were so many games, like it's already... I think that the fact that you recall the position, it was the G5 idea, that already was a very important detail. In that game, though, Dingley Ren played A3 on move 19, and Grischuk, after spending a minute and a half thinking on move 19, decided to deviate with King H2, which seems to be a novelty.
So maybe he remembered the idea, but he didn't remember the move order? I don't know.
Could be.
I'm really not sure. But
because in that game, you're right, Dingley Ren did play King H2, but a move later, I wonder if he still wants to get into the same position or not. But maybe he's playing the same idea as the Chinese Grandmaster, but without pushing the pawn to A3. He may think that he doesn't need to push A3.
I feel like Hikaru's approach has been just very practical throughout like these events, which has been play into the stuff that I know. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm repeating variations, because they're good variations, and then let my opponents try to figure it out. And Grischuk to me is the biggest mystery, because Grischuk, for any of you that don't know, top tier interviewee in chess. Have you ever interviewed him?
I have not. I was thinking of this the other day, that I have interviewed most of the chess players, but not Grischuk. And Grischuk is, as you said, a top tier interviewee. Hashtag Thug Life.
Yeah, because he'll give you some very, very cold sarcasm, but he's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, he's probably the only grandmaster, the only chess player to have a Thug Life compilation on YouTube. For now, that I know of. Anyway, with many, many hundreds of thousands of views. And he also plays poker. I saw
He
Chess24. It's Chess20. They tweeted out something about him like winning, you know, $40,000-$50,000 in poker. So, you know, it's not as much as you would win here, if you won first place. Also, Anna, I'm just curious. Magnus was sharing some photos of like Christmas, and there's like a beautiful beach and sun outside. Is that in Norway?
I think it may not be Norway. I might be wrong, but it looks like it could be somewhere else, somewhere other than Norway. I don't know if he revealed his location, but it certainly seems like the weather is great wherever Magnus is, and I think he was competing from there during the first leg of the tour as well.
Because I was gonna say, I mean, no disrespect to Norway intended. I just didn't expect it to be, you know, looking like it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or whatever that would be in Celsius. I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna put Hikaru. I on the chessboard. I'm gonna go for the walk, not IRL. Although I need that. This is the first time I've woken up at 7 in the morning. And just, by the way, chat, just so you know, we appreciate you all being here very much. Y'all gotta appreciate that Hikaru is waking up at 4 in the damn morning for this tournament.
4 a.m. 4 a.m.
I think that is legitimately...
Anyone else getting up at 4 among our viewers? 4 a.m. crew here? I'm not.
I think it's legitimately the worst time you could wake up. Like, if it's 3 in the morning, it's bad. 2 a.m., it's like, you don't even go to sleep if you have to... I mean, 4 in the morning...
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. Gwen Stefani has a song about it. We could play the song. Hopefully no one in chat is getting up at 4 a.m. to watch the games. That would be...
Actually, a couple of our viewers are waking up at 4 a.m. on a normal day too, on a working day. My Santa hat off to you, but I'm not gonna move it though. Just like, imagine. I don't want to.
No.
It takes time to put this on.
As Anna told me. Okay, so it looks like. By the way, in Anisha's game, Nepo's sacrificing some pawn in the center. Looks like in the end he will win back this b2 pawn, and Giri will be up a pawn and trying to snatch victory from the jaws of a draw. As his position is going to be slightly better, but we will see what happens. Yeah, the people waking up at 4 a.m. for jobs, obviously. Much respect to you as well.
Yeah.
No. I can't do it. I don't have the streamer sleep cycle, but I definitely cannot wake up at 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like if you have a job where you need to get up at 4 a.m. every day, then at least you get to adjust your months and year to that. But for chess players, it's like for one event, this is the schedule. For another event, that's the schedule. So Hikaru may have had an American time zone, what's basically Pacific time, normal daytime. That would be his day a few days ago, and now he's back to this time schedule, which means that he may have to go to bed. What time he would go to sleep? We're gonna ask him. Maybe at 6, 7 p.m. he's already in bed. So I think it's the difficulty too is to adjust to it, but Hikaru is a professional. He didn't complain a single bit about the previous schedule. He will not be complaining about this either. He just takes it as it's part of the tournament to adjust to it.
I'm also adjusting to the fact that Anish Giri looks to have sacrificed the queen, but I don't think he has. Just looks that way. I think the idea is rook to c8.
Wow, and it's on the board.
It's on the
board.
What
a move.
So he sacks a queen and a rook, but he dislodges Nepo's queen, and then he gets to win it back, but he's only equal in that situation. Yeah, see, this is what Nepo has to do. So, yeah.
What a move, to give up the queen, to downplay rook to c8, tactics all over the board, fork, pin, all the mottos that you can spot when you do Puzzle Rush. I hope you guys do solve your daily tactics that you practice. If you want to get better at chess, it's one of the best tools, one of the most important exercises to do, whether it's online or a puzzle book. Like, it depends on your preferences, but solving puzzles, that is combinations where it's a winning move, checkmating 1, checkmating 2, fork, pin, how to win a queen, how to win a rook, anything that can help you be sharp to spot these tactical ideas will help a lot overall.
For all these fireworks, this game's just going to end in a draw, actually. And, I mean, look, our memes write themselves, but they're memes for a reason, yeah? So we're gonna get, what we're gonna get here is a trade, and like I said, one of these pawns will be lost, because the bishop will come and attack both. And, okay, it's going to be fighting for Nepo to get a draw. But Nepo, 20 moves in, only spent 20 seconds of his clock time officially. It's good. I'm glad we're back in familiar territory, you know?
At least in terms of time management, because his position looks suspicious earlier. So I don't know what Jan Nepomniachtchi did exactly wrong in the opening phase, but something didn't feel right.
Hey, look, you gotta play h4. So Giri, this game just did move 5. Like, he put both knights out, and he just plays h4.
Yeah.
This is a line. I've played this line with white, and grandmasters have a lot of success with this line with white. And I played this line with white and got an awful position.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I won the game on like move 80, so it had nothing to do with the opening, and I had to suffer through a garbage position for about 4 hours before my opponent made a bad move. So, but this is one way to play against positions where g6 is played. You could just go for h4, h5 and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Nepo takes h4. He doesn't take b2. Does it matter? I don't think it matters. Pawns are doubled anyway, right? So
Yeah, it's an extra pawn for white, but doubled pawns, as Levi pointed out, and opposite colored bishops. Opposite colored bishop endgames are very difficult to convert. With the rook on the board, that would be still some chance, but at the same time, it's the black rook that's about to go to d2 if the rook is on the second rank, putting pressure on the f2 pawn and the b2 pawns. I think this, as you said, Levi will soon end in a draw. Rook a1, Giri is about to capture the a6 pawn, but I do think after rook d2, black has enough counterplay and counter chances to make a draw.
this one is not the most exciting, but I think Carlsen and Aronian, the game between Magnus and Levon, they've also had before. I feel like they've played this against each other before.
Let me check.
Something similar, very similar. But early on, Magnus plays a funny move. Plays knight h4. Going for the bishop here. I would imagine Levon goes this way, but looks like he goes the other way and gets taken, but then opens up his rook. h3, and so a queen trade. And now Magnus is giving away the bishop pair because he wants to double the rooks and have pressure on this isolated pawn on d5. Who knows about the isolated pawn structure? Chad?
You're not asking our viewers, right? You're not putting everybody on the spot.
No, I mean, of course I am.
Isolated queen pawn structure.
Yes, isolated pawn. So, who wants to trade the pieces if there's an isolated pawn? Don't ask me, I'm literally 800. Dude, that's the best part. I got this job and I'm like 900. They'll never know. They'll never know. I'm just really good at talking. Yeah, obviously, Magnus prefers to trade the pieces. Magnus prefers to trade pieces because it'll leave black without a defender for the pawn, oftentimes, and it could be weak in the endgame. So,
very true. Important to know about this structure, as Levi said. That's a structural weakness, but as long as you have a couple of pieces on the board, the more the better. Usually, the more the better for those who have the isolated pawn, because then you get to attack with those pieces. But in an endgame, that will be vulnerable, and so the more pieces are traded, the better for Magnus in this position, yes.
So, Alexander Grishuk has gone down to 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Now, if you guys don't know anything about Alexander Grishuk, good interviews, even better time management. Grishuk just has a habit of having like 75 to 80% less time than his opponent, but he's still extremely strong even when the clock is low. And he always looks for a fight. And we see in this game, it didn't take much. He goes for a pawn sacrifice. At an elementary level, that move just loses a pawn. But he can get his knight to e5. If you take with the queen, you are lined up here with the rook. Not an easy position.
No, it's a very interesting move, pawn to e6. And whether it's taken by the queen or the pawn, I guess pawn takes is just plain bad, isn't it? Because of knight e5. Although it's a funny position, so white has just sacrificed the pawn and then offers a queen trade. Usually when you're material down, you don't really want to be trading queens, but here this position is very concrete. If bishop takes d1, knight takes d7, the rook on f8 is hanging, the bishop on d1 is hanging, and if the rook will attack the knight on d7, you can simply capture the bishop on b6 and then take the bishop, so you will end up having an extra piece.
Yeah, the tactics here work out, actually. This move knight e5, which looks like it hangs... I think you have to play queen e8?
So you can't even take the pawn, because if queen takes... Let's see queen takes e6 for a moment.
Yeah, I would imagine queen takes e6, you lose, right?
Yeah, bishop g5 wins a piece because the queen and the knight are hanging. So, as incredible as it is, it's probably better not to capture the pawn at all.
Why is it only plus 0.6? Because if you're gonna play bishop g5, aren't you just gonna... Huh? You're just gonna lose the knight for free? What is...
Wait, is there a way out of this?
Oh, it just wants you to sack the queen. It just wants you to play hg and then lose the queen. Okay, yeah, no, thanks. Yeah. No, I'm good. Computers actually oftentimes will realize that being down that queen later is like very significant. So this is the thing about computers, you know? They like significantly underestimate how much trouble they're in. Kind of like the government. That's why we don't have stimulus checks. Anyway, that's just a little bit of, you know, banter for the morning. But yeah, computers just get like 5 moves later and go, oh, my bad, whoops. So, yeah. I think Hikaru has to take on e6 and then go queen e8. I think that's what has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks ugly, Anna. Doesn't look very nice. And I think Grishuk's gonna go g4, f4. Oh man, this is gonna be crazy stuff.
It does look crazy. So as you said, Alexander Grishuk will almost always be in time trouble. At the same time, he's really good under time pressure. He's a 3-time World Blitz champion. Winning the World Chess Championship once is already quite a huge achievement, but winning it 3 times in the Blitz category, ahead of Magnus Carlsen and the rest of the crew, shows skill. Shows skill for sure. The fact that he always gets into time trouble kind of makes us feel like he needs it, he wants it, he likes it.
He likes
the adrenaline rush.
Likes the adrenaline rush. You know who else likes the adrenaline rush? Man, Jaren is caring. We got the thumbnail god in the chat, and he operates on a different plane of existence than all of us. He's actually going to sleep now to then wake up and grind out like 7 more 500,000 view level content thumbnails on YouTube. So Jaren, we love you. Get some sleep. There was a guy yesterday in my chat. I streamed for a few hours, like in the evening, and he like challenged me to a game, and I was playing. And then he went, take it easy on me. I haven't been asleep for 34 hours. And I like made him end the game. I was like, go to bed. What are you doing? Just
34 hours.
Made the whole chat just give a wave of hearts to that person. So let's give a wave of hearts to Jaren, who has like a nice, good sleep. And Hikaru does go for queen e8. Does go for this. So now Grischuk is probably going to play g4, f4. And it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be an ugly game for Hikaru, but he's gotta tough this one out. Like Anna, his pieces can't really move, but I like this. I like bishop g6. He's going for a trade. Because it's just
better simplify the position before the attack of white will be too strong.
Yes.
Look at that wave of cards. That's all for Jaren. If you guys don't know Jaren, he's the amazing editor behind the GMHikaru channel. GMHikaru, more GMHikaru. Together with Chessbay, they are making a dream team of content. It's constant daily uploads, well, not just daily, couple of times a day. Usually, you get your video content on the GMHikaru channel.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. No, it's listen, I'm out here. You know, two a day is hard. 3 a day, that's ridiculous. It's an amazing team of people. And it's true. Those of you who are saying that, you know, half a point advantage to Grischuk despite him being down a pawn. Yeah, his position is really, really good. And I really wonder if bishop h5 was a mistake by Hikaru, if it allowed this e6.
Oh.
You know, maybe this e6 move.
Do you think it was Grishuk's idea when he saw the ding game? So as we said, Hikaru had this exact same position all the way to move 18. It's the same that Hikaru had a month ago against the world number 3, Ding Liren. do you think Grischuk prepared this e6 idea? He saw that game and he was like, wait a second, if without a3 I play king h2 first.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just, Grishuk's next move is really suspicious. G5.
Oh, no, then let's take a look at the current position, because I'm just trying to understand if this was preparation by Grischuk or not.
No, I mean, this looks like inspiration of some sort. But it's hard. Like, G5 just doesn't... It feels... Yeah, like Hikaru just plays knight f4, and now he's gonna get a bishop off the board, one of the bishops, and the sacrifice for Grischuk just isn't gonna work out. I don't know. You were saying, before you were rudely interrupted, whether or not this was Grishuk's idea from... It might have been, but the thing is, he spent like 6 minutes, so...
Yeah,
was
but
it
he
his
always
maybe?
does it. He always does that, I feel like. But yeah, it would be interesting to know. And of course, we will ask Hikaru. Hikaru usually joins us after the rounds are over. So today they're gonna play 4 games in total. And after the 4 games, Hikaru hopefully will have a moment to join us and tell us about if he had any issues, any worries after seeing e6 on the board. Ooh, what is going on now, though?
Oh, I was actually thinking instead of... I mean, this is good. People are asking, is this exposing Black's king? Yes, but at the same time, you have to think about it from the standpoint of, like, are we actually in any danger? If queen takes d3, queen h5, you know? And we're attacking this king. It's not really clear who's in what danger. Some results are in, by the way. Anish Giri has drawn his game against Nepo. And Hare Krishna drew, Pantala Hare Krishna, the second strongest Indian player behind Vishy Anand. He drew with MVL. So we could put that up on the scoreboard. And actually, a move ago, I was really curious if in this position you could play queen e7 and queen h4, just disregarding this pawn. But that's why Hikaru is playing the game and not me, because I'd probably play queen e7 and lose. And he's just taking, and he's gonna go queen h5.
It's just such a crazy position. So as you said, g5 was perhaps a bit suspicious. Earlier we thought Hikaru needs to be very precise to defend here, but g5 was maybe too aggressive by the Russian Grandmaster, and knight f4. Hikaru taking now the initiative for the attack. So this is what can happen if you push pawns in front of your king. That's very aggressive and bold, and you may end up attacking your opponent's king and checkmate them. But if you don't, it also means you have been exposing your king by pushing the h-pawn, and now queen h5 comes with a check. When the king goes back to g1, maybe Hikaru doesn't even want to take the h6 pawn, but just bring the rook through the 6th rank. Can you just play rook f6, rook g6, or double rooks? What's the best way here?
Wow.
I mean, I would definitely want to take the pawn because I like free stuff, but I think Hikaru will go for something more creative and more powerful.
Rook f6, bro? Oh my.
That's an engine suggestion. I don't come up with rook f6. I see a pawn, I take the pawn, but Hikaru plays c6.
Well,
wait a second.
He's...
Oh, the bishop!
Yeah, so he's got the same idea. He wants to bring a piece. It's interesting that he's just disregarding this. Well, guys, what's the term? Hey, who knows the term? If pawn takes g7, Hikaru's not going to take with the king. He's going to play rook f6 or rook f7. What's the term for keeping this pawn here, chat? You guys have seen enough of our umbrella. There you go. Look at that.
Umbrella.
Beautiful stuff. Umbrella pawn. Yes. You don't take this pawn. It shields your king from bad things.
It does. And then you start singing Rihanna for your opponent and life is great.
Yes. Yes. Great song. It's like a legendary song. I remember driving around in like my family's car listening to like Sirius XM radio. That was the thing in the States. That was our cool radio station, you know, the satellite radio or something. Not the old stations with the numbers. I was listening to Umbrella. Those were the good days. Now everything's on Spotify.
Yeah, it's still a good song on Spotify too. I might listen to it after the broadcast.
Well, we might as well listen to it right now. That's what we gonna do.
I forgot that we have a DJ in house.
Yeah, I try to keep the music low, guys, just so it's on, you know, low in the background for ambiance. But yeah, we'll okay, Hikaru. By the way, Hikaru can take on g7. Just to be clear, his king is not in any danger at all because you control every entrance point of the enemy bishop and the queen.
And if he takes, it means that the rook can then go to h8. So perhaps that's why he didn't care about rook f6, because after king takes g7, rook h8, you're threatening checkmate on h1. Suddenly, it is white who has to be super careful about the king's side. It's Hikaru's king that has no pawns in front of it, and yet it is Grischuk who is in danger. The king on g1. As protected as it seems, the h file is what matters here, and the heavy pieces of Hikaru are on the h file, will be on the h file soon.
Just thought of that kid from The Simpsons who's sitting on the bus.
Oh,
I'm in danger. But it's Grischuk. I'm in danger.
Love it with the quality memes.
That's beautiful. What a great show. How many seasons have The Simpsons been on? They have never stopped being funny.
Yeah,
What an
I
amazing
don't know how
show.
they do it. Yeah, it's one of my favorites, all-time favorites.
Who is that? Ralph? Is that the kid's name? Ralph. Okay, it's it's Ralph. What a great name. I remember I used to watch the Magic School Bus. Did you ever watch the Magic School Bus with Miss Frizzle?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
One
There
moment,
was
I didn't know which title is that, but yes.
There was I think there was a kid in that show named Ralphie. I feel like Ralph and Ralphie, like in every show, are just annoying. It's always Ralph. Oh, sorry if anyone in chat is named Ralph, but I don't know what they got against you, but oh, now everyone in chat is named Ralph, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Hikaru uses the umbrella. He likes Rihanna perhaps as much as we do here. Maybe he's singing it already too. Rook f6. The pawn is here to stay on g7.
But why? Why?
Why?
I liked your idea. I liked your idea a lot. Just take the pawn, rook h8, queen h1 mate. Of course, Grischuk would have not seen it. It's very sneaky. I mean, after all, you know, it's like. But what? I don't know. I liked it. He just.
Yeah. Maybe this is a safer version, but we don't get the rook to go to h6. That's the issue. The bishop on e3 is guarding that square.
The computer is like really trying to give Hikaru some humongous advantage here. It's like really like every move, it's like, "Bah!" And then it like reels it in, you know? It has to calm itself down. But of course, practically speaking, it's all Hikaru here. In a blitz game, you probably win this 9 times out of 10. Especially a blitz game with no bonus time. Well, it would be 7 minutes versus 1. But if you adjust like for a 3-minute game, this is horrible for white practically. Because like Anna, you have no forward movement. The bishop and the queen, neither of them can move forward. So you're constantly going back. And there you go. See, a very natural retreating move is apparently losing. But why? Was there some crazy tactic? Or... Oh, is it bishop h2, bishop f4, and queen h1?
Maybe. This bishop f2 seems so weird, but I guess it's what you said, Levi, that Grishuk's position was already suspicious with all those attacks against the king. The dark squares of the bishop c7, bishop g3 was one of the threats to cut the king. So Grishuk stops it, but now the king has less room. This is such an awkward position.
I don't know.
Is it bishop h2 or is it queen h2? Which one is the more precise move order and then the follow-up?
It could also be neither of those moves. But, I mean, I just want to get my queen to h1, and I do that by giving a check, king moves, and then I slide back to f4 hitting the rook, and then I can go queen h1. By the way, what even happens if I go to h1? Who cares? Bishop blocks. Or even king e2. What if the white king just goes to e2? Says, I don't care. So?
Yeah. Do you want to hear a sick suggestion of the engine? Because here we are talking what a human would consider, but the engine says, give a check on h2 with the queen, and when the king goes to f1, place your rook on e8, so that then when the king will be on e2, you will be ready to push e5.
Ah, yeah. So the computer wants rook e8 and just to play e5. It's just saying you don't have to rush, basically. Like, you just...
Yeah.
Yeah,
white has no threats. This is what you said, Levi, that white has no way forward. There's a pawn on g7, but no one cares because white has no checks, no attacks. What a game.
Dubov Rajabov is a draw. And by the way, is the format of this tournament like every game is on the hour again? So,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, the schedule
Okay,
is the same for that.
okay,
It's just one round less.
Yeah, Hikaru plays King G7, and then he's gonna try to play Rook H8. I mean, he's a human being. He's okay. There's the escape. Here it comes, and I gotta tell you, if Grischuk plays King E2 and then plays like G4 and Rook H1 and Rook G1, who the hell is attacking who? Just what is going on?
Yeah, great question. I wonder. It felt like Hikaru didn't want to take the pawn, that's why he played Rook F6, and now he changes his mind at the same time. Now that the Rook is on F6, it still is useful, of course. It will be the A8 Rook that swings over to H8, and then you can use the F6 Rook either to triple stack on the H file, or bring that Rook to G6 if you want to. Now that we have seen the engine suggestion with Rook E8, it kind of feels like, oh, what a pity that it's not going to E8 eventually.
Right, because now by the time you get E5, I don't know. Okay, Rook G6. Well, Hikaru is just basically saying, where are you going, Sasha?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna take on G2, but it could not even matter. Like, it could be the best thing for Sasha, or maybe he plays G4 and then King E2. Oh, this could get ugly. Yeah.
G4, indeed, as you suggested, and now the king will possibly go to E2. Yes.
E2 Bishop G3. So there's always threats. Hikaru's lurking. He's lurking. Looks so difficult to play this with white. Also, Anna, I have to apologize. I had the thought of wearing this hat, but I literally feel my cranium slowly being crushed. My head is too big. I can't. I have to.
It's okay. We forgive you. Santa will forgive you too. I hope you got your presents already and Santa will not see this. But we appreciate the effort, Levy.
Maybe I can hold on. What if I just like rest it on top of my head? Like
if you can balance it on top of your head, that's fine with us too.
Yeah, Oh, and on the bottom board, by the way, Levon. Oh, this is good. It's like not doing anything. There you go. I got the little poof there. No, it's not big brain. I just have a massive head. There's probably it's all air, but it's just hot air. That's all it is. Anna, Levon has one king of the hill, by the way.
Has he?
Yes,
oh
he's
my.
King is on
Magnus
E5.
was not informed about this.
Yes.
So with the king on e5, does it mean that Levon is doing well? Because in an endgame, you do want to have your king active. At the same time, we said the isolated pawn, so the d5 pawn has no friends, no support from another pawn. You always have to keep your pieces guarding it. The rook on d8, now the knight on e7, the king on e5, they're all trying to protect that pawn. So overall, it still is a bad position for Aronian because of that weakness.
I'm just pained by the phrasing of the description there. No friends. One moment we're having a wholesome stream, one moment the pawn has no friends. It's
Then
rough.
I'm talking about Raiden and Raiden.
Yeah, I know.
Guess.
What? Although, seriously, I was fascinated at the discrepancy between cancer research funding and like the deadliest cancers, you know. So it's like it's a interesting. I was like deliberating where to donate and all these things for charity. But before that, Grishuk's got 40 seconds. So let's see this game. Oh my god, this. No, I'm done with this hat. It's just gonna rest on my table. I'm just gonna see it, and it's gonna bring me Christmas spirit.
It's
messed
okay,
up my hair.
you tried. Maybe you can put it on the lava lamp if we have a break, and if you have it in the background or somewhere. We appreciate the effort though. You tried. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays.
I feel like December 26th is like we're done, you know? And then we celebrate New Year's. And then
we're gonna be here popping champagne on New Year's, I expect.
Yes. I will happily drink in the morning that day.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Grischuk
9 a.m. starting to drink at 9. Oh my.
It's never.
But it's New Year. It's New Year after all.
Yeah, we have to celebrate it. Do you think Grishuk's king is gonna get to B1? Serious question.
It looks like it's in almost there, almost castle at queenside at this stage. So what's happening now? If Hikaru takes the free piece, which is that bishop takes f2. I guess the issue is rook to c2, pinning the bishop on the second rank, and next move capturing it. We can't move the bishop away because the queen is hanging, and we can't really protect it.
That's so ridiculous. Oh my, how do you like, what? I'm mad. That's just not fair. You get a free bishop and the guy just immediately takes it away from you. This is disgusting. I'm not ready for this. And I feel bad for Hikaru. It's 6:30 a.m. and he has to deal with this garbage, you know? Like,
Yeah. He had such a crazy start for, like, if we look at this game, how it went from Grischuk going for this e6 pawn sacrifice, taking the initiative, launching an attack against Hikaru's king, then Hikaru turning the tables. Now it's him who is attacking, but it feels like Grischuk is getting away with it. He's escaping.
And it's happening. And yeah, guys, you're right. You know, he can take this pawn, Hikaru can take this pawn, but then he's not up any material, and the more pieces you trade off the board, the closer it's going to get to a draw, frankly. And he's going for a queen trade. But, Anna, this is a really interesting endgame. And I don't say that just because I need to, you know, keep you guys entertained or anything. This is very interesting, because White's got 2 passed pawns connected. Hikaru got 4 on 2. So it's like one of the weirdest pawn structures ever. Normally it doesn't happen like this.
Normally it does not, but hopefully it doesn't mean that Hikaru can be in trouble again. So in this rook endgame shouldn't be bad for Hikaru because his rook is very active. Now if they trade on e3, it's gonna be the black rook that's more active.
Yep, but take king d2. What did Grischuk?
Wait, this seems to be a mistake.
Oh, Grischuk blundered a pawn.
Oh, he forgot that black can give a check first. So Hikaru gives a check, then he will take the e2 rook, and then he captures the pawn.
And rook e7, rook f7, and Hikaru. I think Hikaru is winning now. If he can win this and get the 4 on 2, he's winning. And the a pawn is so annoying. Is lingering around the a and b pawns. Oh, this should be winning. No, if you want me to tell you how, it's a secret. I don't know. But
this is our best chance, and I think it's clear that Grischuk has missed rook d3 check intermediate move. If we have a moment later, we can show why that was important to give the check first.
Look at this, rook e6. What an amazing move. Just cuts the king completely. Little box. If you play rook f6, I go back. So I think Hikaru's got to go, what, king f8, rook e7, Anna? Is that? Or like rook c7,
so.
king f7?
Yeah, we need to regroup our pieces. Somehow the king and rook coordination isn't the best right now because it's guarding the b7 pawn. We managed to save that pawn, and that's the base of the pawn chain, so it's important. But now, I think you're right. We need to regroup the pieces in a way that the rook has more room on the 7th ring.
Yeah, Magnus apparently blundered as well, but he's not losing. He still has a pawn up endgame, and it still has winning chances, frankly. Okay, there's rook f2. Can Hikaru play like king c3, a3? Sacking the a pawn, but winning the a2 pawn? No, because there's rook e7. He's got to play king f7, king e7. That's what he has to do. His next move is going to be king f7.
Yeah. Yeah, true. So that prevents the check on the 7th rank. And if rook h6, threatening rook h7 check, then we have a moment to think. What do we do there?
I think king
King e7. So
wait,
you will bring the rook back to f7.
Yeah, to try to go rook f7, but I'm getting confused. Like I said, it should be winning, but rook endgames are ridiculous. You know, it comes down to 1 square, and like, okay, there's a3, but I don't know if it's the best thing. Like, it looks very natural, right, Anna? Because you just leave white with 1 pawn. You have to take, right?
Yeah.
I'm not like, you have to take it, but
I think that has to be captured. What other move would come into consideration to
check
pawn, but
on h7?
Yeah, no, check for sure. That's an option. And I wonder if there's anything awkward about pushing the pawn, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
Does Grischuk actually have 5 seconds, by the way?
I think so. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, b4. Wait, what? Oh, he sacked the a pawn to give a check and win the b7 pawn. Interesting. Or no, he's doing it this way too. Okay. This could have been Grishuk's best chance, actually. Lose the pawn, but bring the king, hit both, and the b pawn controls black's pawns. He actually gonna save this with like 5 seconds on the clock?
I mean, he's a World Blitz Chess champion, so speed is definitely his forte, but he is in a worse rook endgame, so the position is not in his favor. Doesn't matter how fast he is.
Magnus was winning a move ago?
Was he?
That's what they're saying.
Did Aronian blunder something?
F4! Magnus had F4 check, just winning the rook!
Oh my gosh, that's a huge blunder!
Magnus just had discover check, pawn up 1 square and wins the rook!
He had 50 seconds on the clock approximately to see it, and he took the rook on d4. That's puzzle rush. That's something that would come up in puzzle rush on beginner and intermediate level 2, and it's something that Magnus sees like this, but not in this game. He didn't feel that it was an opportunity.
That's a fossil, yeah, you fossilized the rook. That's unbelievable. What happened?
The current position may not be winning anymore.
For Magnus or for...
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm still talking about the world champion because I was like, after missing the opportunity to win a rook. This endgame is still a pawn up, but it's not that easy to convert if it's possible at all because black is very active.
Yeah, this endgame is also a weird rook endgame with like a terribly strange imbalance. Like one guy has connected past pawns, which should be winning. Like if you push every one of them together, the rook comes up too, the king comes, the pawn comes. Jesus, he missed f4 check. That's insane. Like, I mean, that's not a hard, you know, it's... But you just don't expect such things sometimes. And, well, it's the beauty of it, you know? 30 seconds on the clock, and... Now, Grischuk here is really providing us high-quality entertainment. This is why they invite the man back to these tournaments. Because they know... Wow, king a4! Russian school of chess here. Okay, is this just becoming a draw now? This 2-on-1?
I hope not, but I'm afraid that it's petering out. The position it seemed to be advantageous for Hikaru earlier. It still is an extra pawn, so that's not gone, but it's less material. And yes, you're right that now with the king moving up the board and supporting the b pawn, and if we trade that b pawn, will he trade it or not though? Because if you push, then there will be connected pass pawns up to c5. Well, again, Grischuk down to 5 seconds though. So 4, 3, 2. He's not flagging, right? Okay. He made a move with 3 seconds.
3 seconds. Yeah, and remember, this is online. I mean, over the board is very, very different. Grischuk here has got to make sure not to slip. He's got to make sure not to, I don't know, just like straight up flag. Because, but Grischuk plays a lot of Title Tuesday, and he doesn't, I mean, he is... Okay, and apparently he's lost the endgame. Apparently now the computer's very confident that this one slight difference is losing. Why? Is it because Hikaru will go to c4? Or what? Why is this winning? Is it because you can, like, outflank? I don't... Why is this so bad? What happened? What was the drawing move? Oh, it was b5. Apparently he has to play b5, which is always really tough, right? Because you don't know... You don't know when you should do this. Do you allow the guy to... Oh my god, b5, c5 looks terrible for black. I mean, for white, but... 2 pawns connected, going. So apparently he had to play b5 and he's lost the game, but it's...
And now he can't play b5 because then Hikaru will take and give a check on b3. So the difference being that if he had played b5 earlier, then after the trade, rook b3 check, the white king can come close to the d pawn and capture it next move, or at least be right next to it, and not allow the promotion, not allow the black pawn to be pushed. But with the king on d5, the white king will have to move to the edge of the board, and that endgame is winning for black.
Hikaru goes to f4, which could be winning. The thing is, guys, we have to let the engine catch up. Every move that's going to get made, the depth of the computer resets. So every time a move gets made, it's going to start a lot lower. Don't think that Hikaru made a mistake. Watch, it's gonna exactly see the computer starts going. You know, it just does that because it gets its source of depth from the like actual computer itself, like mine, and so it resets every single time. It doesn't have a very good sense of continuity.
Yeah,
but-
the evaluation clearly is not what's being shown right now. It's just taking a bit too long to adjust to these blitz moves.
But there was a mistake made somewhere, and there's another mistake made, by the way. Now King E2 just wins. So I think Grischuk wanted D2 King C2, but King E2, check, Rook E3. Rook blocks, game is over. Hikaru has to find King E2, it's lights out.
I think he will. I think for him that's a natural move, and he still has over a minute. So Hikaru's time management for this game was also a lot better. Yes, he's playing against the World Blitz champion, but Hikaru is a Blitz and Bullet champion himself. He's the #1 bullet player in the world. Also was #1 at Blitz before. Levi, tell us about it.
I was just gonna say every game is a draw now. So every game has been drawn. Anton and Wesley So, Magnus Carlsen, Livon Aronyan is a draw. If Hikaru finds King E2,
he'll be the only one who wins. He'll be the sole leader of the tournament after one round.
End it. Just call the tournament. Call the tournament.
Call the tournament. It's over.
Slow start, you know, little
to Hikaru.
Christmas hangover. He's just gonna find King E2, and I'm very curious. What is he calculating? Because D2 King C2. Oh, then maybe King. And he's found it. Played. There it is. I mean, listen. The man played a speed run of King to E2. God damn it. I mean, he, you know, when it comes to King E2, the man knows a thing or two about King E2. And King E1. King E1. What a move. If here you go check, and where exactly is this win, by the way? Like, I'm trying to find this win. Where you can get close here with the king.
I guess it's like the Lucena position. Although we have the B and C pose on the board, so it's not that easy to get rid of the white king. So that's a theoretical position that we are trying to construct here, where you would push away the king from the B file. You would give if there was no B4 pawn, you would push it away with a check on the B file. Now if king, what? King C4, now king to C2?
King C2, king... Oh, Grischuk might sack the pawn. I mean, sack the rook and push the B pawn.
The B pawn. But should be slow, isn't it? Slow.
Oh my god, that's so difficult. Oh, and wait, he just resigned. He didn't even play it out.
Alright, so he must have blundered King C2.
What? Wait, why did he? So Hikaru wins. Nice. Epic. But why? Hold on a second. Oh! Because Rook D6, you don't have to make a queen. You give a check and then you play Rook D3. That's what he missed. You shield the rook from the pawn.
Oh, that's beautiful. So instructive. Guys, pay attention to this because it's extremely instructive.
Yeah.
You should not be in a rush in endgames. Patience is definitely one of the main features, the main to-dos in an endgame on this move, Rook D6. Rook C3 check. The king cannot move to the D5 because you promote with the check. And if the king steps to b5, it's blocking the pawn. It's blocking white's pass pawn. Then you move Rook D3 and you will queen. You are not allowing the rook to be sacrificed for the pawn.
That is incredibly instructive. That could straight up be in a rook versus pawn endgame video. You don't make the move here because pawn versus rook in a situation where the defending, I mean, in this case, the black king is the defending king because you're trying to defend against the passed pawn here. The defending king is too far and what's called shouldered, right? Like it's being boxed out by the white king, so you can never get close. And it's boxed out this way too, so it's difficult to like get around and you're not fast enough. Wow.
Yeah. Let's show what would have happened if the king doesn't go to c4 but to b2, because we were telling you guys that there's a position in rook endgames called Lucena or Lucena. I call it Lucena. I don't know what's your pronunciation for it, Levi, but that would be without the b pawn. So what's the difference here? Let's see. Can we just...
So yeah, it would be king e2, rook e6, and then it's kind of like an early bridge, but basically there are these endgames where the king will walk out and then it gets shielded by the rook. So it's like but in this case it's just one noise. Just king to e2, rook to e3. So this rook as a shield, right, in rook endgame, super important if you don't know this technique, and just understanding that you can use it here too and not just rush with the queen promotion. Yeah, just what Bjergsen learned the other day. Hikaru in the chat. Yeah, Hikaru taught this to Bjergsen. Yeah. Bjergsen, pay attention. You could beat, like, you know, top 3 Russian player in the world. You just listen to Hikaru.
Exactly. Shout out to Bergson, shout out to Team TSM, and shout out to each and every one of you for supporting Hikaru in the second leg of the Champions Tour. This is a $1.5 million tour. The second event has just started today, and there's one leader after the first game, only one round, but the sole leader is Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura. Not a bad
Yes,
start.
not a bad start at all.